With less than 6 months to go before the referendum, the differences in their strategies in the yes and no campaigns are becoming more noticeable. Yes Scotland has built a network of semi-autonomous local groups campaigning for independence.
This is a grassroots campaign, ordinary people from all walks of life, from all different political views involved.
Better Together claim to be doing the same.
Thousands upon thousands of new activists on both sides of the argument are getting involved in making what is going to be the biggest decision in Scotland's history. So it feels like a sort of revival of democracy in Scotland. It's great.
In reality, despite some stage-managed launch meetings for local campaigns, like here in Eastwood, with an activist demographic hardly lending itself to energetic street work, the no presence has been rather thin on the ground. On the 31st of January, Better Together's attempt to hand out 500,000 leaflets to commuters at railway stations in Scotland failed miserably. This lonely Labour councillor at Glengarnock did at least put in an appearance. It was estimated by Wings Over Scotland that due to a lack of volunteers, they failed to meet their leaflet target by a staggering 95%.
I hear them all the time saying about assertions and all the rest of it. That's just rubbish.
It seems to be much the same story with public meetings. Throughout the country, yes groups are engaging with their communities. Their attitude is the more Scots hear about the issues, the likelier they are to vote yes. No seem happier to camp in TV studios and are failing to put up speakers, causing debates to be cancelled.
They have had the offer. We've offered to set up a debate jointly with them. That has been turned down to date. But hopefully, as we progress towards the referendum, then they will feel that they have to engage with us.
This lack of people on the ground may prove critical when the race to convince voters reaches the final weeks.
We're going to have a very loud and very enthusiastic round of applause for a minute in memory of Margot MacDonald.
Yes Edinburgh were canvassing and leafleting in Wester Hailes during one of what they call Super Saturdays. An impressive 212 volunteers turned up to help.
The rain is about to come on, so let's get out there and work and keep ourselves warm. Get out there, leafleting, canvassing, we've got the whole area to do. There's 30,000 leaflets to go out and over 1,000 doors to chap today. So let's get started.
We asked some of them why they were there.
My name's Carol Fox and I have been involved in politics all my adult life. Member of the Labour Party for 30 years and a candidate for the Labour Party 3 times. But I think we're facing the most important decision that Scotland has faced in centuries, and I wanted to have the intellectual and political freedom to make up my own mind. I didn't agree with the Better Together campaign, and I know people are worried about what's going to happen in September, but I've got a greater worry about living under a UK Tory government for decades and decades, and I'm trying to inform myself of what's best for my daughter and her future, and I'm voting yes. There are very, very many decent people within the Labour Party who I think, if they could find the space to have a debate, which then doesn't mean that they're identifying with being a nationalist, then they would have the freedom to really weigh up what choice they want to make in September. So I think the membership is very much divided from the leadership, and I don't know who the leadership and the Better Together campaign, or whatever they're calling themselves, are actually speaking to, because I know that a lot of decent people in the Labour Party actually want to have the ability to vote yes and are questioning why we're standing shoulder to shoulder with the Tories in a Better Together UK campaign. It doesn't sit very well, and in the end I just couldn't thaw that. My conscience wouldn't allow me, and I resigned from the Labour Party. And I'm not calling for people to resign from the Labour Party, but I am asking everyone to just really seriously consider for themselves all the arguments, become informed, become involved in the campaign and make the decision. Don't follow a party line. This is too important for a party line.
I've just become kind of disillusioned with Westminster and the whole British political system. I kind of think that I can't really see any way that the kind of change that we need as a country is going to come out of that. And I think becoming an independent country is probably one of the best ways to actually change society for the better.
I do believe that Scotland, being a very, very powerful little country, and a very capable little country with the best resource of all being her people. I do think it's absolutely right that we should have our own control over our own destiny, like so many small nations, and it's been a passionate aim of mine for so many years.
I'm campaigning for yes because I feel that Scotland should be an independent country. We're not the same as England. We don't want to be governed by Westminster. I'm very much in favour of being in Europe. I've been to Brussels and Strasbourg and I've seen the parliaments over there and I've talked to people there, and I feel that we should have our own voice within Europe. I think we're a very prosperous country, I think we're a very lied to country, and I think we really, really need this opportunity to be independent.
I mean, immigration means a lot to me because, I mean, I've married a Scot and I've been here for a while and I plan on staying. And it's a shame that things are kind of moving backwards. And I mean, I've come from America where, you know, healthcare is a big deal because there isn't any, and everything's been privatized there. And here I keep seeing things like that happening. And it's a bit sad because the socialised healthcare here just works. And I mean, I've never had a problem with people being against me because I'm foreign in these parts. I mean, I've been welcomed at all times. And I'm kind of afraid of how it would get if the immigration system continues to go a bit backwards. I mean, I've had to apply for several visas and it's gotten stricter and stricter every year. And yeah, it's a bit silly actually, and I just don't want it to fall back any.
No, I'm not a nationalist. I'm campaigning for yes because I'm a Democrat. I don't like the Westminster system. We vote for Labour MPs in Scotland. Doesn't make any difference. We get Tory governments in England if England wants a Tory government. We get Labour governments if England wants a Labour government. I want a government in Scotland that the Scottish people vote for.
Well, one reason is Trident. I believe strongly that we should not have Trident in Scotland at least, and none of the main Westminster parties are offering to remove Trident. The only ones I should say, that are offering to remove it are the Scottish National Party and the Greens. And so therefore I think the only way to get rid of Trident is to vote yes.
It's been a great day, it's been fantastic. I've actually come out from Dalkeith here, and the reason why I wanted to do it is because I wanted to experience this whole... Dalkeith, we're quite a wee small group. And it's great for morale, it's good to see, do you know what I mean, like yes out in force, do you know what I mean, and that's why I came today, and I'm glad I did, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because whether they are yes or undecided or leaning towards no at the start of the conversation, what I find is over the course of a conversation, we've all got the same concerns, hopes, fears, you know, and a lot of people, especially the ones who don't vote, they don't vote because they feel let down by the Westminster system. And when I start talking about independence and all the things that it would mean for this country, that fills them with the same sort of optimism that I have. You know, it gets them excited about the future, you know, because the future is open with independence to all sorts of possibilities about creating a better country, you know.
This is the third Super Saturday we've had, and every time we get better and tighter at organisation, and then through that we do get better organisation in terms of managing to get the canvass results. We haven't had a definitive measure obviously because we've just finished, but in terms of the reception that people have been telling me on the doors, they've had so many people saying, oh, thanks very much for coming to the door, I'm thinking about voting yes, can you give me some more information, and we're able to obviously provide that. And crucially as well, we've also been able to give people voter registration forms. 10,000 voter registration forms went through letterboxes today, so that's 10,000 people that will, if they're not registered to vote, be able to register to vote easily thanks to our efforts today.
I was out canvassing in Calderview in Wester Hailes and had a great time speaking to people about the referendum and independence.
How did it go? What sort of response did you get?
It was good. I mean, I think the canvass, and MD experienced canvasser will let you into a secret and say half of the people are no in, regardless of what time of the day you go. But it was really encouraging. I mean, the polls suggest that, you know, poorer people, working class people, support for independence tends to be stronger, and I found that again today. You know, leave aside the ones that weren't in, which I couldn't judge their point of view, but it was really heartening. Really, a lot of people looking at it, more passionate about it, you know, encouraged to see hundreds of yes supporters in Wester Hailes on a Saturday. Terrific.
Brilliant. We canvassed the whole of Medwin House North, and we got 100% yes of people that came to the doors, 100%. So it was fantastic, and I'd just like to thank the people of Medwin House for their support. Very, very positive. Some people started off with a point of maybe being a 6 or a 7 on the sliding scale. By the time we left, they were up there. You know, it was a resounding success, very uplifting, fantastic day out for both myself and my canvassing partner.
The Yes volunteers are growing in numbers and commitment. With opinion polls moving in their direction, they feel the momentum is with them and their confidence is high. Are the Unionists losing the battle for votes on the doorsteps? If what we saw in Edinburgh is any guide, that's another question to which the answer is a resounding yes.